Hey guys, so today we are going to try to define, or we're going to answer a subscriber question more specifically, and the subscriber question is, what is a Rockstar programmer? So let's get into it. Now you may have heard me use this term a few times, and you may have even been at certain companies where they use this term, Rockstar programmer. So what does that mean? Well, it's very tricky to say, but in my experience, what it means or where it comes from is it's basically salespeople creating this term that kind of comes with this, the startup trend and having a hype around talent and innovation and all of this great stuff that is very common in specifically the startup world. And the reason why this term came to pass and kind of what it means has more to do with you than you think. You see, the thing is, guys, you live in basically the working environment as it stands today is littered with hobby level coders, and the need for truly skilled and really talented developers is massive. It's ridiculously high, guys. Almost every single company who uses programmers to do their day, in some way, have a need for more. It's at that scale. The problem is that there's simply none to be had in comparison to the demand. They can simply not find enough of these truly good programmers. There's tons of people who know how to write code at some lower level where that's actually, I've made quite a few videos about that. That's actually a very common problem when you recruit people, where you simply, because of all this ambiguity and people trying to, let's just call it ambiguity, there's a big problem with just companies wasting quite a lot of time on interviewing a lot of people who may not have the skills that they are actually requiring. So the Rockstar term comes into basically the same sort of thing that Google does, which is, and they probably do it better than most, which is employer branding. So what is employer branding? Well, employer branding is the idea that you create a working environment that is so desirable to work at that you get the greatest talents, or the people who are the most skilled and really good at what they do. They will look to you first, and you will have first pick. Now, as I said, Google, they have a lot of money invested in this. Their offices, their entire office culture, and the thing that they're trying to sell outwards. I can't tell you if that's actually what's happening on the inside, but that is what they're promoting to the outside. I mean, so far I worked at several companies where this has been the trend, where you try to make your office interesting, your office culture interesting, and you try to get the right people, so you create a really strong foundation to have people kind of just come in the doors, and then you show them around and they go, wow, I want to work here. And the Rockstar term, being a Rockstar developer, that's actually where that comes from. Think of it as basically as a sales pitch. Every company kind of defines it their own way, but they all want you to. It's not far from the same sort of thing they used to do, where you give a middle manager or somebody a fancier title and then they feel appreciated. It's about, as I said, creating this hype around innovation and commitment and getting engaged and all that good stuff. Because that's something that is very valuable to the company, to have engaged, enthusiastic, and developers that are pushing kind of the limits and are actually going the extra mile for the company. And that's basically what it boils down to. But then again, you have the other definition that some people who are programmers will have for Rockstar developers. And it depends on your definition, but some people will claim that a Rockstar developer is this douchebag person who, hacks together genius code and can't collaborate, or just basically does their own thing, and they know all the stuff and all that good stuff. And it kind of depends on your experiences. I work with people like that who are just kind of genius coders who do their own thing, and they don't really collaborate all that well. They can create some amazing things. I usually find them in front end where they create an amazing animation or an amazing component that does something amazing and it looks great, and then it turns out that the code and the quality of the software that is delivered is so horrendous that it's really only them who can maintain it. And depending on your viewpoints, that's a rock star, or that's somebody who is grossly incompetent, or at least an artist. There's a range there. You can decide for yourself where you place such a person. But that's the other half of it. So when it comes to being a rock star, guys, I can tell you this: when a company talks to you about being a rock star and they're only looking for rock star programmers, what they're actually telling you is partly that it's a sales pitch. It's as I said, it's the same idea where you try to promote the idea that your office and your culture and like everybody in your company are like superstar rock stars or whatever, and that pulls in even more people, makes employer branding a little bit easier. If you set the bar for talent really high, you will only hire talent, and talent brings more talent, etc., etc., etc. So when they use that term, just kind of think of it as a way for them. It's a nothing word to describe people who are really enthusiastic about code, who are dedicated to their craft and really care about programming and innovation and technology. That's a good, I think, definition of it. And if people are using Rockstar programmers as I was saying, like as a way of saying that something's negative, it has to do with dismissive programmers who think that they are the shit and they know everything, and that they write code that is either very hard to maintain or they don't collaborate, that sort of thing. And your experiences may differ, but to summarize, that's basically what a Rockstar programmer is. It's just a nothing term that either tries to define somebody as, to describe somebody as being extremely like having the rockstar mentality. They work as an island, or like their thoughts and their opinions and the way that they want to do things, that's the way to do it. They don't really collaborate all that much. They're just kind of doing their own thing. And for companies, it's a way to help with employer branding, basically, to communicate outwards that we are just looking for enthusiastic programmers, talented programmers, people who have a really high skill level, and that's all, that's the people we are looking for. That's basically it. Have a great day.